Hello, friends. If you spent any part of your career in a public school, a fire station, a state government office, or any job that ran its own pension and did not withhold Social Security taxes from your paycheck, this video is specifically for you. A law signed in January of 2025 changed your Social Security situation permanently. The Social Security Fairness Act eliminated two rules that had been reducing, and in some cases, completely wiping out benefits for millions of Americans for decades. Back payments were authorized, monthly amounts were supposed to go up automatically. But here is what is genuinely confusing, and what most people affected are still getting wrong. Whether your correction happened automatically or whether you still need to take action depends entirely on your specific case. The Social Security Administration is not calling. They are not sending letters, and there are thousands of people who qualify for a correction right now whose accounts have not been updated and who have no way of knowing it. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what these two rules were, how the law changed things, and the specific check you need to run on your own account. And there is one step near the end specifically for widows and widowers. That determines whether you collect the full back payment or miss it entirely. Quick context before we go further. This video is for United States retirees, widows, and widowers whose Social Security was affected by the Windfall Elimination Provision or the government pension offset. The goal is to help you understand how these rules work, what changed, and what you may still need to do. Everything here comes from publicly available official information, the Social Security Administration, the Congressional Budget Office, and the Social Security Inspector General, and I will name each source as we go. This is educational content only. It is not personalized financial, legal, or Social Security claiming advice. And nothing here is a promise that you will receive any specific amount of money. Everyone's situation is different. So before any major decision, talk to a licensed professional who knows your circumstances. Most people in this situation first noticed something was wrong when their Social Security benefit statement showed a number much lower than expected. Some ran the math against their earnings record and could not find where the difference went. The rules responsible were written into the Social Security Code in ways that most financial advisors rarely encountered until retirement was already underway. We are going to walk through both of them using what the Social Security Administration's own guidance says. And if you worked in a state government job or public school and are receiving Social Security right now, type yes in the comments. I want to know how many of you are watching this in exactly that situation. The first rule was called the Windfall Elimination Provision. It targeted one specific situation. You worked in a job with its own pension that did not withhold Social Security taxes. And you also worked other jobs at some point where you did pay into Social Security. In that case, the standard benefit formula treated your Social Security earnings as though you had spent your entire career as a low-income worker with no separate pension. It cut your monthly benefit using a modified calculation that made your Social Security covered years worth less than they actually were. According to the Social Security Administration, approximately 3,200,000 people were affected. The typical monthly reduction was around $480, nearly $6,000 a year, permanently, with no adjustment back. The more years you spent in the non-covered pension job, the larger the cut. The second rule went after something different, what a widow or widower collects after a spouse dies. It was called the government pension offset. If you were entitled to a survivor benefit based on your husband's or wife's Social Security record, and you also received a government pension from a job that did not pay into Social Security. This rule reduced your survivor benefit by 2/3 of your pension amount. If your government pension was $1,500 a month, 2/3 of that is $1,000, the government pension offset subtracted that $1,000 from your survivor benefit. If that benefit was $900, the subtraction wiped it out completely, not a reduction, gone entirely. According to the Social Security Administration, approximately 800,000 widows and widowers had their entire survivor benefit eliminated this way. That distinction between reduced and eliminated is exactly what determines whether your correction can happen automatically or whether you need to file a new application. We will come back to it. For decades, the government pension offset, dating to the late 1970s, the Windfall Elimination Provision to the early 1980s. These two rules stayed in place despite constant pressure to remove them. Congress introduced approximately 300 separate bills to repeal them over the years. Teachers' unions, firefighter associations, and federal employee organizations testified at hearing after hearing. Not one bill passed. Then, on January 5th, 2025, the Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law. Both rules were eliminated completely, not phased out. Eliminated. And the law was made retroactive to January of 2024. Meaning the Social Security Administration owes every affected person the difference between what they received and what they should have received, going back at least 12 months. Paid as a single, lump sum direct deposit. According to figures reported by the Social Security Administration, the average retroactive payment for accounts corrected so far runs around $6,710. And the average permanent monthly increase is approximately $360. For a widow whose entire survivor benefit was eliminated, the retroactive amount is significantly larger. The Congressional Budget Office estimated the total value of all corrections owed under this law at approximately $196 billion over 10 years. Here is the problem the Social Security Inspector General flagged in 2025, reporting not everyone has received their correction. The Social Security Administration has over 4 million individual account adjustments to process, and they are working in batches. The Inspector General noted that a substantial number of affected individuals had not yet received their full correction and had no way of knowing it. There are people right now in 2026 whose monthly benefit is still running on the old reduced formula. The Social Security Administration is not flagging individual cases. If you have not checked your account since the law passed, you do not know whether your correction is complete. Consider someone like Carol, an illustrative composite. Not one specific person, but representative of thousands of documented real situations. Carol is 71, a retired teacher from Texas. Her husband passed away 6 years ago. When she first applied for a survivor benefit, her application was denied outright, not reduced. Denied because her teacher's pension eliminated it under the government pension offset. After the Fairness Act passed, she heard corrections were being processed automatically and assumed her case was handled. 7 months went by. Her monthly amount did not change. When she finally contacted the Social Security Administration using the exact language in Step 2, she learned her case required a completely new survivor benefit application. The batch processing could not correct a claim that had never been approved. She filed the new application. Her retroactive payment arrived within weeks. She had nearly missed it by waiting. 4 groups are directly affected by this law. Group 1, public school teachers in Alaska, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Georgia, Illinois, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Massachusetts, Missouri, Nevada, Ohio, Rhode Island, or Texas, who also worked other jobs that paid into Social Security at any point in their career. Group 2 firefighters, police officers, or any state or local government employees in those same states who also paid into Social Security through other employment. Group 3, federal employees hired before January 1st, 1984. Enrolled in the Civil Service Retirement System, CSRS, not the Federal Employees Retirement System. If you are unsure which system applied to you, check your old federal benefits paperwork or contact your former agency directly. Group 4, widows or widowers whose spousal or survivor benefit was reduced or eliminated because they receive a government pension. Pause this and note which group applies to you before we move to the steps. Step 1. Log into your online Social Security account on the official Social Security website. If you do not have one, create it. You need your Social Security number and a valid email address. And it takes about 10 minutes. Open your benefit statement. Look at your current monthly amount. Then check specifically for any line referencing WEP or GPO. If that line is still there and your monthly amount has not increased since January of 2025, your correction is not complete. Pause and write down what you are looking for a WEP or GPO line, and whether your monthly amount changed after January of 2025. Step 2, if your account shows the correction is incomplete, contact the Social Security Administration through the official contact information on their website. When you reach an agent, use these exact words. I want to verify whether my account has been fully corrected under the Social Security Fairness Act for WEP or GPO. Pause and write that sentence down before you call. That language tells the agent exactly which system to open and which correction history to pull. If the agent says your case is closed but your amount still looks wrong, say, "I would like to file a formal request for reconsideration." That phrase triggers a supervisor level review of your full correction record. Step 3 applies specifically to widows and widowers, and it is the step most people miss. If your survivor benefit was not just reduced but eliminated completely, meaning the original application was denied, not merely reduced, the automatic correction cannot reach your case. There is no approved claim on file to reverse. Batch processing works from approved claims. It cannot generate a payment from a claim that was never approved. You need to file a completely new survivor benefit application. When you contact the Social Security Administration, ask this exact question. Does my case require a new survivor benefit application under the Social Security Fairness Act? Pause and write that question down now. That one question is the difference between receiving the correction and missing it entirely. If you have already been through this reapplication process, share your experience in the comments. It helps everyone else in the same situation. Here is the summary. The Windfall Elimination Provision reduced benefits for approximately 3.2 million people. According to the Social Security Administration, the government pension offset eliminated survivor benefits for approximately 800,000 widows and widowers. The Social Security Fairness Act eliminated both rules and made corrections retroactive to January of 2024. Average retroactive payments reported by the Social Security Administration run around $6,710, with widow cases that had full eliminations running significantly higher. Corrections are still processing. The only way to know your status, log into your Social Security account. Check for a WEP or GPO line. And if your benefit was denied rather than reduced, ask directly whether a new application is required. 3 things to do right now. 3. Log into the official Social Security website and check your benefit statement for a WEP or GPO line and whether your monthly amount changed after January of 2025. 2. If the correction is incomplete, contact the Social Security Administration with the exact phrase we covered and ask for a formal reconsideration if needed. 1. If you are a widow or widower whose survivor benefit was eliminated rather than reduced, ask directly whether your case requires a new application under the Social Security Fairness Act. And for any major decision about how a correction affects your overall retirement income or tax situation, talk to a licensed professional who knows your full circumstances. If you know a retired teacher, a firefighter, a government worker, or a widow living on a single Social Security check, share this with them. The reapplication requirement for fully eliminated survivor benefits is not in any letter the Social Security Administration is sending, and a person who assumes automatic means done may not find out in time to recover the full amount. In the next video, we cover what came up repeatedly in the comments here. Specifically, how these corrections interact with spousal benefits when you switched from your late husband's or wife's Social Security to your own record at 70. And what divorced spouse benefit rules look like after the Fairness Act. If that applies to your situation, that is the next one to watch. Scroll back to the 4 affected groups section if you were not sure which group was yours. That state list is worth a second look.